Andy Landers with 860 victories as the head coach of the Georgia Lady Bulldogs. And the Florida Gators will start on offense in their road blue. Ronnie Williams inside, and the rebound is controlled by Ingram. Haley Clark has played very well for Georgia ever since she got a chance to get into the starting lineup. Early turnover for Georgia as Ingram bounces the ball out of bounds. And Brittany, one of the things that Georgia has to avoid is a terribly slow start. They fell behind early against Arkansas, 18-4, and never recovered and lost that game by 6.
Yeah, and I think they got real close right there at the end, but it shows you can't get down that much at the very beginning. You have to start off like you plan to finish, especially against teams in the SEC being such a strong conference.
That was Kayla Lewis, pardon me, for the basket for the Florida Gators. She's the young lady we were talking about a few moments ago, who's from DeKalb, Georgia, about an hour and 15 minutes from here. Griffin launches the three and sinks it.
And that's something you're going to have to see from Georgia a lot tonight. It's a lot of offensive production from Tiara Griffin.
Griffin, Georgia's leading scorer now that Barbie is out for the season. Griffin averaging 11.3 a game. Copeland lobs inside for Ronnie Williams, and the rebound is tapped away and saved by Ingram. Inside to Donald. Donald shoots up over Copeland for the basket. Needles takes the three for Florida and sinks it. Needles, their top three-point shooter, 36% behind the arc, and a team leading 1.8 per game, which is 6th in the conference.
Florida looking to get a lot out of Needles tonight from the three-point line. Last game she was only 1 for 7, so they're going to need her to shoot a little better than that tonight.
Patches Roberts inside, got her own rebound. And Lewis, the rebound for Florida, out to Needles, they want to run. Copeland, the three. And the rebound by Griffin. Ten on the shot clock for Georgia. Now 5. Roberts hits it. Patches Roberts trying to take advantage of her second career start. A Miss Georgia basketball player at McEachern High School in Atlanta, started her career at Syracuse before transferring back home. Needles on the drive, missed the layup, split the defense, but didn't put it down.
That's a nice drive by Needles, but those are the baskets you have to finish, especially in a close game like this.
Donald had it knocked away by Ronnie Williams. Georgia's ball with 22 on the clock.
And you see Georgia trying to get some production from a new starter to their lineup, trying to change something up being without Jacobia Barbie.
Patches Roberts has averaged just under 5 points and just over 4 rebounds per game, and 17.5 minutes since Barbie went down. And what a loss for the Georgia Lady Bulldogs. Jacobia Barbie, the junior, their unquestioned leader in production and leader on the floor. There was not one thing that she was not Georgia's best player at. Bounce into the post, and Ingram gets up under the defense. 5-point lead for the Lady Bulldogs. Cassie Peoples travels. First substitution of the night for the Florida Gators, Haley Lorenzen will check into the ball game. Lorenzen did not play Sunday against Tennessee after suffering a concussion in practice, but went through the concussion protocol this afternoon after participating in their shoot-around today, and she was cleared to play. Georgia really working down low, and one situation for Ingram.
You see Georgia really trying to force the ball down into the paint. There's a little height advantage there for the freshman Mackenzie Ingram.
So Ingram steps up to the line, a chance at the three-point play, averaging 7.7 a game. And completes it. Ingram has scored 5 of Georgia's first 13 points. Needles. And the rebound by Griffin. Donald steps up, and Needles gets the rebound. Lewis open inside the circle. Bodies on the floor, and a foul is going to be called on the rebound. And the foul will be on Georgia and Patches Roberts. But the Lady Bulldogs have an 8-point lead, 4.5 minutes into the game. Another foul called on Georgia. This one's going to be on Ingram. And that was one of the things that Andy Landers told us at shoot-around, Brittany, is that Ingram has to avoid those silly fouls because it gets her out. I mean, she's a great offensive player, but she spends too much time on the bench because she's in foul trouble.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what happens when you're an aggressive player. As a freshman, she's not afraid to go after the ball and be aggressive, but sometimes that can get you in trouble.
January Miller on the wing. And the rebound ends up in Donald's hands. Again, Georgia looking inside. And they go inside to Ingram. Shot was blocked by Lorenzen. Ingram gets it back. 3 on the shot clock. Jump ball called with 2 seconds. Possession arrow for Georgia, but they'll only have 2 seconds to get the shot off, Brittany.
Yeah, I think this is a crucial point for them. And you can see Lorenzen and Ingram both battling under the basket, being really aggressive.
Ronnie Williams checks into the ball game. Ronnie, one of their star players, McDonald's All-American out of Daytona Beach, coming off her first double-double of the season against Tennessee on Sunday. Went for 11 and 13. Almost had a triple-double, but a bad triple-double. She had 9 turnovers as well to go along with that 11 and 13. Lob inside. Ingram has to fire, and that's a shot clock violation for Georgia. Well, Georgia got the look they wanted. Ingram just couldn't get a shot on line.
And that's a nice defensive job by Florida.
Florida 11 and 12 overall, 3 and 7 in the SEC. They've gone 2 and 2 in their last 4 games following a 4-game losing streak. Miller fouled on her shot. And that's going to be on Ingram, and now Ingram has 2. And exactly what we were talking about a few moments ago, Brittany. Ingram now has to go to the bench, and she's their leading scorer, but she's going to go to the bench for a pretty good long while now with 2 personal fouls. Yeah,
you don't want to see 2 fouls within the first 6 minutes of the game, especially when you have a player that kind of seems to be hot tonight and has the most points so far.
January Miller averaging 7 points per game, shooting 74% from the foul line, 67% in conference play. And Ingram comes out. Erika Ford checks in for the first time, and so does Haley Washington. Patches Roberts also went out for Georgia. Peoples goes to the bench for the Gators. And DeAndrea Anderson checks in for the first time for the Gators. Miller converts the 2. Now a full court press here. One of the things that Andy Landers talked about in regard to the Florida Gators defensively, going to have to be cognizant. Georgia, nearly a 10-second violation, and there it is. So back-to-back big defensive efforts by the Gators. They got a 30-second shot clock violation. And Brittany, they just get a 10-second backcourt violation.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're going to have to do is play really good defense against this Georgia offense. Georgia has a balanced offense with some pretty good shooters, and Florida's defense is going to be really important.
Miller beats Donald for the layup. Gators have cut it to 4. Georgia 27-3 all-time against the Gators at Stegman Coliseum, and they have not lost to Florida in this building since 2004. Erika Ford has been in a tremendous slump ever since she scored 20 against Ole Miss. Shot was blocked by Williams, and out of bounds off Georgia. That's 3 consecutive empty possessions for the Lady Bulldogs.
And I think that's an attribute to Florida's defense. And you see right here, they made Georgia turn the ball over and converted it right into a basket after that 10-second violation.
Anderson walked. That move's good for the NBA, but not SEC women's basketball.
You see Florida playing really tight defense on Georgia, trying to force turnovers early in the game.
Griffin drives, and Griffin gets her second basket. Hit a 3, then hit a layup. So back to a 6-point lead for Georgia. Gators 3-5 on the road, 2-2 on the road in the conference, and Ronnie Williams with her first basket after missing her first 3 attempts. Battle for the ball, and Donald comes up with it for Georgia. Down to 8 on the shot clock. Clark drives and missed the layup. Ronnie Williams, the rebound, ends up in Lorenzen's hands, and a break opportunity for the Gators. Anderson out on the wing. That was one of the things Lander said. He said they've got to get back on defense because Florida's going to want to push in transition, penetrate, get to the rim, or penetrate and kick out for 3s. Lob inside for Donald. And the ball knocked away, and Miller able to save it for the Gators. Another turnover for Georgia. That's their 4th.
And you can see Andy Landers on the bench not happy about the production they've had on offense as far as taking care of the ball.
And they're going to get Ingram back in the ball game despite her 2 fouls. She's at the scorer's table. Georgia not able to get any offense generated since she went to the bench. And an offensive foul on January Miller. Second foul on her, second on the Gators. Tiara Griffin with 5 points. Hit a 3 early, then drives for the layup to give the Lady Bulldogs a 4-point lead. All early action around the conference. 3 games going on right now that we'll continue to track throughout the evening. But Butler was not in the shoot-around today, but typically she is not on Thursday because she has late classes, and she's a very good student, pre-med student with a 3.8 GPA. But we believe the situation with Butler is just simply a coach's decision because he likes the way Haley Clark has been playing. Griffin drives, that's her first miss, and Ronnie Williams snags the rebound, her first of the game. And Brooke Copeland had her foot on the sideline. Haley Clark goes right up the defense, takes it all the way and throws it over her shoulder and draws the foul.
You see Georgia really trying to push the ball fast and up the court, beat the Florida defense, and that time Haley Clark successful.
Yeah, great recognition by Haley Clark. Florida was retreating on defense. They were not set, so she took the ball right at them. Clark out of Edgewater High School there in Orlando, so she's a Florida native playing against her home state team. Her playing time has increased dramatically since the injury to Barbie. Kayla Lewis gets the rebound for the Gators. Nine on the shot clock. Copeland in the corner. Florida shooting less than 33% in this ball game. 8 times in the last 15 games they've shot less than 35%. And that included Sunday's loss against Tennessee when they shot 34. Griffin by far and away has been Georgia's #1 three-point shooter. 42% of Georgia's made threes have come from Tiara Griffin. And she actually has more three-point buckets than two-point buckets this season. Griffin traveled. 5 turnovers now for Georgia. Florida has 4. Gators had a great opportunity to beat Tennessee on Sunday, had a 36-31 second half lead. Ronnie Williams inside. Kayla Lewis, the offensive rebound. She got fouled, and Lewis will go to the line. Haley Clark picks up her first foul. That'll be the 4th team foul on Georgia, and Kayla Lewis goes to the line.
It looks like Marjorie Butler is about to check into the game now.
Lewis, team leading 9.8 points per game, just went over 1,000 points for her career with her 10-point performance against Tennessee on Sunday. Only a 50% free throw shooter, but she's 69% in conference play. 4-point lead for the Lady Bulldogs. Inside, Haley Washington, and she traveled. Back-to-back traveling violations on the Lady Bulldogs. This is a Georgia team that, without their star player, Shakobia Barbie, they are really looking for answers. They're trying to figure out how they're going to not only win games, but play games without Shakobia. They counted on her for so much.
Yeah, and it looks like they're really looking for an answer. You can see that with 3 kind of new faces in their starting lineup. They really can't figure out what's going to work for them the rest of the season being without her.
And it isn't that Butler was a great shooter, but she was a great scorer. And late in the ball game, when you needed someone to take it over, she was able to do that.
And I think that's what every team looks for, is that one player that can step up at the end. So they need someone else to step up and fill that role.
Foul on Georgia. Patches Roberts just picked up her second. So that's 5 team fouls now on Georgia.
And getting in early foul trouble definitely doesn't help when you're trying to find an answer to win a few more games.
So Roberts and Ingram, the 2 players who picked up their second career starts here tonight for Georgia, both of them have 2 fouls here in the first 11 minutes of the game. And Ingram is hurt. Doubled over in pain. I didn't see what happened, but she's holding her hand. Wow. Holding, I believe it's her hand. Wow. Let's watch number 33 and see if we can tell what happened. She immediately grabbed her hand. I guess when it got hit by the arm of Copeland, I think it was Copeland. So she stays in the ball game. Ford the drive kick. Roberts the open shooter and the miss. Tie up, possession arrow favors the Gators. Things get a little feisty underneath on the tie-up. And Scott Yarborough steps in to make sure nothing gets out of hands between the two teams. Ingram comes out of the ball game, and Donald checks in for her. Lewis. Anderson got the miss. Lewis gets the miss. Georgia ends up with it.
Florida getting some nice looks, but not getting anything to fall right now.
Ford on the drive, hits the baseline jumper. Ford had two really good games against the Gators last year as Georgia swept the series. Scored 23 against the Gators and 19. Lob inside, intercepted by Roberts.
And that's just a nice job defensively by Roberts, seeing that and cutting right off in front of the Florida player in the post.
Ford banks it in. Odd angle, but Ford is able to bank it in. And Georgia has an 8-point lead, which matches their biggest lead in the ball game. So a timeout with 6:46 to play. One without a basket, 2 for their last 13, and 4 for 18 from the floor. Difficult shooting night thus far for Amanda Butler's team. Needles will try to answer with her second three and can't. Another rebound for Haley Washington. Georgia out rebounding the Gators 16-11. Ford, nothing but net. Ford now with 6 of Georgia's 22 and Georgia's overall leading scorer.
That's the Erika Clark that Georgia wants to see, is the one that'll take control of the basketball and score some points for them. They haven't seen that player in quite a while.
Foul is called on Butler. That'll be the first on her and the 6th team foul on Georgia, so the next one puts the Gators in the bonus.
That's a nice job by Erika Ford, pulling up for the jumper, and she might be the player that they need to step up in Barbie's position. She definitely has the potential after such a good season last year.
Led Georgia in scoring 11 times last year, only once this year. Haley Washington with the interception. That's 7 turnovers now for the Gators. They were their own worst enemy against Tennessee. Only 7 turnovers in the first half against the Lady Vols on Sunday. Led by 5 at 36-31, and then just a rash of unforced turnovers, 14 of them in the second half, led to Tennessee coming back and winning that game in Gainesville.
You're not going to beat a number 6 Tennessee team with 14 turnovers in one half.
Foul there was called on Ronnie Williams. That's her first. And 4 team fouls now on the Gators. Batchelor comes in the ball game and Williams goes out. On the shot clock. Butler with 4. Will drive and shoot with 3. Needles the rebound for the Gators. Long outlet comes to Anderson and intercepted by Ford. Run out opportunity for Georgia. They got a 2-on-1 and Butler converts. Georgia up 12. It's their biggest lead. Back the other way, the Gators finally break their drought at 4.5 minutes. Intercepted by Anderson. Anderson traveled.
You see both teams making some really poor passing decisions, leading or creating a lot of turnovers.
9 turnovers now for the Gators. Vika DeMaita in the ball game for the first time for the Gators. Griffin left open for 3. And the rebound by DeMaita. Miller nearly out of bounds. Batchelor left open. And knocked out of bounds by Griffin. And a timeout with 3 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the half. Georgia with a 10-point lead. They've held the Gators to 24% from the floor, and they've scored 10 points off turnovers like that one right there by Butler.
To step up and score, and you have Florida, who their 2 players that are tied for lead scorers are 1 and 5 and 1 and 3.
You saw those scores, and South Carolina's opened up a 20-point lead on LSU. Miller gets the bounce. Just the 6th field goal for the Gators in the first 16 and a half minutes of this game. But it's able, or good enough, to cut it down to 8. Eight on the shot clock, and traveling the call on Ingram, and that is turnover number 9 for Georgia. One of the things that Andy Landers talked about in particular in the shoot-around was did not want to see players taking first shots unless they've explored all the other options. Was really upset during this 4-game losing streak that too many shots were going up without looking for an open man. Shot blocked by Haley Washington. Offensive foul on Georgia. Ingram just picked up her 3rd. Ingram, who scored 5 early points, now will go to the bench with those 3 fouls. Georgia will go a little bit smaller here with their lineup as they bring, well, they were going to go smaller, and then Andy Landers changes his mind. Brings Krista Donnell in for Ingram, and also brings in Erika Ford for Patches Roberts. Ronnie Williams. Donnell had the rebound, and Haley Clark brings it up for Georgia.
You see Florida trying to look inside and feed the ball to their post players, but because they're not hitting anything from behind the arc, but you still see they're really not getting any offensive production from either position now.
Clark left open for a 3. And Donnell gets the offensive rebound. Goes right back up with it. Got fouled by Ronnie Williams. Williams picks up her 2nd, 5th team foul on Florida. Puts Donnell at the line. Donnell, Georgia's top offensive rebounder. 3rd point of the night for Donnell, who's averaging just under 9 a game, but a little bit more than 10 the last 5 games. Timeout called. Donnell at the line. 2nd free throw on its way and a miss. Kayla Lewis gets the rebound. Lewis now has 5 boards to go along with her 3 points. There's Lewis again at the top of the circle. Nice contingent from nearby Decatur, Georgia on hand to watch Lewis play. They lob inside for Lewis. Bad pass by Miller.
That's just another poor offensive possession for the Gators.
And even 10 turnovers for both of these teams. Inside on the cut, shot was blocked by Copeland. Copeland stayed right there on defense. Copeland, the freshman. Amanda Butler able to add some size to her lineup this year. On the inbounds, another shot blocked by Kayla Lewis. They call jump ball, and the possession arrow favors Georgia.
Florida's starting to step up their defense in the paint, where Georgia's having some production.
5 blocks now for the Gators. Inbounds pass intercepted by Kayla Lewis. Intercepted by Erika Ford on the other way, and she throws the ball to Kayla Lewis. Minute to play in the half. Peoples had her shot blocked by Haley Washington. Second block of the game for Washington. Behind the back in the dish, and Haley Clark will go to the foul line.
You see Tiara Griffin driving in. Haley Clark trying to finish, and now she's at the line.
Foul was called on Kayla Lewis, her first team foul. So Haley Clark back at the foul line. Clark with 1 point tonight, a couple of rebounds and an assist. Again, she is benefiting from the unfortunate injury to Shakobia Barbie, her playing time increasing tremendously since that injury. Career high 8 points, 4 rebounds in the loss against South Carolina last week. Career high 6 assists, career high 31 minutes in the loss against Arkansas on Monday night. Peoples, rim out. Haley Washington the rebound. Gators now 1 for 6 on their threes. Difference of 10 seconds, shot clock, game clock. Griffin, long three. And the rebound controlled by Copeland. Shot clock off as the Gators bring it across with 16 seconds. Five, Needles, pumps and shot, fires. Needles hits the basket. Second three-pointer of the half for Needles. And Florida with a big three-pointer from Needles at the buzzer, able to cut the Georgia lead to 8 at halftime.
Yeah, and I think that's a big basket for them. They need something to give them a little energy boost going into the locker room.
9 seasons, but that's the only time ever. In Andy Lander's 36 seasons, they've lost 5 in a row and trying to keep from doing that here tonight. Peoples bangs home the three-pointer. Cassie Peoples with her first basket of the ball game after scoring 18 against Tennessee on Sunday.
Florida going into the half, finishing on a 3 by Needles, and then you see Peoples coming out right in the first part of the second half, opening up with the same drive.
Clark drive, shot blocked by Lorenzen. That's the 6th block for the Gators. Roberts picks it up with 2 on the clock, and that's a shot clock violation. That is the second time that Florida has forced the Lady Bulldogs into a shot clock violation.
That's just a nice look by Peoples. She sees she's open, pulls up, takes the 3.
Peoples, a McDonald's All-American out of San Antonio, Texas, started her career at the University of Texas. Knee injury, transferred to Georgia, or transferred to Florida, pardon me. Real dynamic player, but inconsistent. 18 against Tennessee on Sunday, only 3 so far here tonight. She'll try to make it 6 right there. Misses the 3 over the back. Foul's going to be called on Kayla Lewis. Lewis picks up her second personal. Florida has led only once in this game, and that was at 2-0. Bounce into the post. Donald got tied up by Kayla Lewis. Another blocked shot by the Gators.
And that's one
Possession arrow in Georgia's favor.
Florida's been doing good is good defense in the paint against Georgia.
Inbounds, Haley Washington. Ford with 8 on the clock, hits it. Erika Ford now with 9. Just the third three-pointer hit by the Lady Dogs tonight. Lead back to 8. And a traveling call on Lewis.
You see Erika Ford in this play right here. She sees she's open. She takes the initiative and makes that shot. That's the Erika Ford. You could see the smile on her face after that shot that she knows she's capable of playing.
Well, she'd really like to get on track. 4 for 18 shooting, 4 for 27 shooting the 3 in conference play, just 18%. And Ford again. Something about the Gators brings out the best in Erika Ford. 23 last year in the win in Gainesville, 19 in the win here in Athens. She's the leading scorer, either team, with 11 points. Lorenzen, 3-second violation on the Gators. Ronnie Williams will come in and Kayla Lewis will come out.
Go, Georgia!
Bounce into the post. Washington, nice fadeaway.
That's a great feed by Tiara Griffin into the post to Haley Washington.
Georgia matches their largest lead at 12 points. Timeout called by Amanda Butler. Haley Washington in the post. 5 games, her only miss in that stretch last season when she was sick when the Lady Bulldogs played South Carolina, and she's sick again tonight. She is on the bench dressed, but she has not played. Williams and Lorenzen the rebound. And a timeout called by Amanda Butler. Interesting timeout. No timeout called. I see, okay, Donald's down. I didn't see that Donald was down. I thought she'd call the timeout. Well, we certainly hope this is not a knee for Krista Donald. She has battled through severe knee injuries in her career. In fact, at one point, Andy Landers didn't think that she would ever really be able to finish her career at Georgia because of the severity of her knee injuries, and hopefully that's not the case. Yeah, it looks like her ankle, looks like her left ankle, which that's not a good thing, but it's not her knee. But she came down awkwardly on that left ankle. Hopefully she's going to be okay. You see she's in a lot of pain. And she has yet to get off the floor. Donald with 3 points and 6 rebounds tonight. One of 2 seniors on this team, along with
And Donald, one of the biggest or best offensive rebounders for this Georgia team. It's something they're definitely going to miss if she can't come back into the game, which looks like she can't even put pressure on it.
Yeah, and so we just finished telling you that Hempy has not been able to play tonight because she's sick. So that would be a second forward out for Georgia. And I would say that at least for tonight, the prognosis for Donald's return is not very good. Update on scores around the conference. Tennessee's lead now 19 at Ole Miss. Kentucky opening up a 10-point lead on Mississippi State in the second half. And South Carolina has doubled up LSU in the second half there in Columbia. So Donald's still laboring to get to the Georgia bench. Ingram back in the ball game, despite the fact she has 3 fouls. Georgia has little choice right now.
And Georgia's trying to find an answer without Shakobia Barbie, now without Merritt Hempy as well as Krista Donald. It's going to take a lot of effort from other players for them to be successful and finish out this game.
Without some veteran leaders, Georgia leads by 10 after Williams hits the shot. Williams with her second bucket. And a turnover by Ingram. Ingram trying to pass over the press defense, hummed it out of bounds. Well, certainly a big challenge for Georgia here. No Butler, of course, no Hempy, and now no Donald. Lorenzen. Ingram had the rebound, got fouled.
You see Florida trying to force the ball inside, but just can't get anything to fall. Not much different than the first half.
Miller called for the foul right there. That's 3 fouls now on her. First Gator to reach 3 fouls in this game. Five on the shot clock for Georgia. Haley Washington at the elbow got fouled on the shot. That's a break for Georgia. Haley Washington, despite the fact she hit that fadeaway jumper a few moments ago, not a great shooter. Washington hitting only 30% of her shots this season, but at the foul line when we get back. Snap there. 18-game winning streak here at Stegman. Haley Washington, just a 45% free throw shooter. Lead back to 11 for Georgia. Long three-point attempt by Needles, and Ingram the rebound. 5 boards for Ingram now. Go along with her 5 points. Washington posting up and calling for the ball. Georgia can't get it to him. 8 on the clock. Griffin hits the 3. Second three-pointer for Griffin, 4th for the Lady Bulldogs. Largest lead for Georgia, it's 14.
Haven't heard from Tiara Griffin a lot in this game, but you can see the crowd kind of getting back into it off of that play.
Last touch by Georgia.
See Tiara Griffin not afraid to shoot. She pulls up right there around the Florida defender and makes the 3.
Kayla Lewis checks into the ball game for the Gators. Lorenzen goes out. Miller in and Needles out. Miller playing with 3 personals. Peoples pass inside to Lewis, and she got fouled on the play. Foul will be on Haley Washington, I believe. First on her. First team foul on Georgia. Puts Kaylee Lewis at the line. Kayla Lewis. Now 1 for 3 at the stripe. She was the 2010 Georgia Gatorade Player of the Year. Atlanta Tip-Off Club's 2010 Miss Georgia basketball, leading Southwest DeKalb to a state championship in the Atlanta area. Ronnie Williams had her shot blocked. Haley Clark, dish was intercepted. Run out for Peoples. Trailing Copeland, sinks to three. Copeland with her first three-pointer, fourth for the Gators.
And that's just a nice drive there by Peoples, kicking it out to Copeland for the three.
Foul on Georgia. Washington in the paint, muscling for position, picks up her second personal. Gators still hovering below 30% from the floor, 10 of 36, 28%. Cross-court pass to Miller. And Erika Ford gets the rebound. Ford gets it back. She's Georgia's leading scorer with 11. See if she can create some offense here. She travels. And a timeout called by Andy Landers. That'll leave him with 3. 30-second timeout called. Each of the last 6 games combined, now with 11. You saw Tiara Griffin there a moment ago. She has 8. That's the top 2 scorers for Georgia. Those 2 have combined for half of the Lady Bulldogs' 38.
Go, Georgia! Defense!
8 on the shot clock. Copeland in the corner, sinks another. Copeland, the freshman out of Cleveland, Tennessee, knocks down a couple of three-pointers, shooting 29% from behind the arc this season. And the Gators cut it back to 8. Griffin, shot blocked.
Will! Oh my gosh, you gotta keep them safe! Keep them safe!
Copeland launches another 3. Airballs this one. Ford gets doubled. Haley Washington. And Kayla Lewis gets the rebound. Lewis with 7 boards ahead to Ronnie Williams. Missed the layup. Good defense by Ingram to make her change her shot at the last second.
You see Florida really trying to push their offense and beat the Georgia defense down the court, but that time Georgia back in time to prevent that basket.
Lob inside. Washington can't control it. 18th turnover for Georgia. Copeland with 2 three-pointers tonight. This one cuts the Georgia lead to 8.
And saying a 4-game losing streak sounds really bad, but they played some really tough teams these past 4 games that they've had, so it'll be really good if they can pull out a win here.
Meantime, Gators in the midst of a stretch. 5 of their last 7 opponents ranked, including Georgia twice. Miller goes right through the defense, and the Gators have cut it down to 6. And Haley Clark initiates the contact and will go to the foul line. Kayla Lewis picks up her 3rd. So Haley Clark, 3 of 4 at the foul line tonight, 8 of 10 at the foul line coming into the ball game. Clark
playing a lot of minutes again here tonight as her role on this team has changed dramatically in the absence of Barbie. Clark played 24 of Georgia's first 28 minutes.
Clark maybe not producing as much offensively as a guard may, or Butler might. However, she takes control of the ball, and Andy Landers really trusts her to run this Georgia offense.
Yeah, that's the other story, is that Clark has basically, well, at least for tonight, replaced Marjorie Butler. Butler has played only 6 minutes in total tonight. Peoples. No basket. Foul on Lewis. And Kayla Lewis has now picked up her 4th personal foul. So really, when we talk about Georgia being without Butler, they're without Hempy, they're without Donald, and they've really been without Butler. I think I meant to say Barbie. Now they're out, basically they're playing without Butler here tonight. That's coach's decision, though.
Yeah, and I think that's showing you where they're looking to find another answer. They weren't finding it with the lineup that they had with Butler running the point. They've had other players stepping up, and you can see Andy Landers trust other players to make some production rather than who he's used to and having to make a lot of adjustments.
7 on the shot clock for Georgia. Washington unable to set a screen. They get an open 3 for Griffin. And Haley Washington with the rebound, her 6th board of the night. Some really solid minutes from Haley Washington tonight. Again, with Hempy not out there, they've got to get some solid minutes from her. Griffin. And Griffin gets her own miss. Georgia resets the offense, under 10 minutes to play right now. Stolen by Peoples. Layup by Peoples.
That's just quick defense and good hands from Peoples, driving down and finishing that play off of a turnover.
6 steals for the Gators, 6 for the Georgia Lady Bulldogs. Griffin, quick 3 right there.
And that's 3 attempts by Tiara Griffin for 3, not being able to come out with any of them.
And Copeland stepped on the sideline. And Amanda Butler is letting Bob Trammell hear about it. She didn't like the call. Great anticipation right there by Cassie Peoples, who's number 7 in the Southeastern Conference, averaging 2 steals a game. Butler still irate over on the sideline for the Gators. Amanda Butler, one of 2 coaches in the Southeastern Conference, coaching at her alma mater. Holly Warlick of Tennessee being the other. And a foul on Lorenzen. No, foul goes offensive, not on Lorenzen, it's on Haley Washington, and now she has 3 personal fouls. Had her arms up, and that was the call right there. Couldn't have her arms up like that while battling for position. Foul on Haley Clark. And Clark picks up her 2nd. Georgia fouls now up to 4. Six-point lead for the Gators. They've cut it as close as 5 here in the second half. Inbounds to Batchelor, and the lead is 4. This is as close as the Gators have been since early in the ballgame.
You see that spark from Batchelor coming off the bench, coming in and making an immediate contribution.
Offensive foul on Ingram. That is number 4 on her, and Georgia racking up serious foul trouble. Ingram with 4 and Washington with 3.
You see Mackenzie Ingram driving in, and the Florida player getting her feet set for the offensive foul. With a close game, Georgia really not needing some of these players to get into foul trouble like this. Florida's came back to within 4.
Plus, Florida's a very good free throw shooting team. Peoples. And the rebound for Roberts. The report from the Georgia locker room is that Donald is a doubtful return. And that appeared to be the case as she struggled to make her way off the floor with that ankle injury. Foul's going to be called on the Gators. This will be on Batchelor, number 1 on her, and the 6th team foul on Florida. Next one puts Georgia in the bonus. Griffin drives, misses the banker. Washington able to save the rebound to Ford.
Haley Washington really doing a nice job in the paint. She doesn't have that many points, just 3 points, but offensively and defensively as far as rebounding, she's doing a great job stepping up tonight.
Now has 7 rebounds. Missed by Griffin. Roberts the rebound. Georgia now 4 for 13 on their threes. Lob inside for Washington. Roberts is able to save it. In a triple team, has it stolen away. 7th steal for the Gators. Gators can cut it to 2 or 1 with a 3. Ronnie Williams traveled. Timeout. We are down to our final 6:58. Gators have battled back to cut the Georgia lead to 4. Meantime, Florida goes to full court press out of the timeout. Georgia has committed a whopping 22 turnovers, and the Gators have turned that into 19 points. Seven on the shot clock. Griffin with 4. Clark gets the rebound. Georgia launching a lot of threes now, 4 for 14.
Yeah, it looks like Tiara Griffin trying to find a rhythm and get in her element. She's usually good at shooting the 3. That's what her team counts on, and you can see on her face the frustration she's having tonight.
Clark's pass stolen by Williams. Miller on the drive. Wild layup, offensive foul. Miller picks up her 4th foul. 2nd Florida Gator to reach 4 fouls along with Kayla Lewis.
Miller driving in, you see right there. Patches Roberts getting her feet set to draw the offensive foul.
Miller's got to do a better job of looking around. She drives, 3 Georgia defenders collapse on her. That means somebody's open. You see, Florida tried to win here at Stegman Coliseum for the first time since 2004. Ford on the layup. Washington following, got the rebound. It was fouled by Copeland. Copeland 2nd. And Haley Washington, who took a hard tumble, will go to the foul line for the 1-and-1.
That's a great hustle play there by Erika Ford, as well as Haley Washington following her teammate down the court.
8 rebounds now for Haley Washington. Washington 1 for 2 at the foul line. Georgia 8 for 11. Lead stays 4. It's been right here around that 4-minute mark as Florida, after cutting it to 4, has now gone over 3 minutes without a basket. And Georgia's gone 4 minutes without a basket. Copeland. And rebound by Roberts. Roberts with 7 boards. Georgia out rebounding Florida by 17, 40-23. Get it to Clark, 3 seconds, the drive, and the layup by Haley Clark. Clark with her first bucket. 7 points on the night. Pushes the lead back to 6 as the clock ticks under 5 to play. Ronnie Williams, shot blocked. Clark pushes it up for Georgia.
That's nice defense by Georgia, and you can hear the crowd getting into it here. Georgia picking back up the momentum in the last 4 minutes of this game.
Florida now plus 4 minutes without a basket. And Georgia just 1 for 10 with 5 turnovers in their last 5 minutes. But it's Georgia with the 6-point lead. Roberts knocked down with the 3-point shot. No foul called, but she hit the shot, and Georgia back to a 9-point lead.
We talk about Georgia needing production from other players. Patches Roberts, someone you don't see taking a lot of shots from behind the arc, pulling up and coming through with the 3 with 4 minutes to go for her team.
Roberts with her second bucket of the ball game, just her 8th three-pointer of the season. A moment ago. Lorenzen inside, and a shot blocked by Ingram. Possession arrow in favor of the Gators. They called that a tie-up. So the Gators get it on the baseline. Inbounds comes to Williams in a double team and hooks it in. Lead is 7. Ingram fires inside, pass intercepted by Williams.
And that's just a poor job by Mackenzie Ingram there on that pass, especially this game isn't that far out of Florida's reach.
Needles hits the three-pointer. Make that Peoples, pardon me. Cassie Peoples knocks down the three-pointer, and the Gators cut it to 4. 3 minutes to play. Less than 10 on the shot clock for Georgia. Clark bounce inside for Washington. Pass intercepted by Needles. Needles being guarded by Griffin, misses the layup. She rushed the layup. She should have slowed down. She had a trailer.
Yeah, that's a great steal, but a poor finish there by Needles.
Less than 2.5 to play, and a 5-second violation on Clark.
That's 3 bad or poor offensive possessions there for Georgia.
So after they had built the 9-point lead, the Gators have cut it back down to 4, and a chance for him to cut it to 2, maybe 1 right here. Seven on the shot clock. Miller gets the bounce off the back iron, and the Gators have cut it to 2 with 1:50 to play. Ford has not scored in a while. And the Gators come down the floor, a chance to tie or take the lead. They have not led since 2-0. For the lead,
Got it! Gators on top with 1:12 to play. How about Cassie Peoples? Struggled in the first half, coming up with big plays now. Team leading 11 points.
This is an important.
And Georgia throws it away.
Here you see Peoples pulling up, taking the three to give her team the lead, and all the momentum right here in Stegman Coliseum for the home court. For 30 seconds to work with here. Don't turn the ball over and be successful and get something out of it in this possession.
Yeah, don't be in a hurry to shoot the ball. Unless you get a great look. On the shot clock. 7. Peoples, long three off the iron. Williams gets the rebound. Shot clock off. Georgia has to foul.
That's a huge rebound by Ronnie Williams. You haven't seen much production out of her throughout the night, but that's a huge rebound right here in the end of this game.
Long three-point attempt by Cassie Peoples, but the bigger play, the rebound by Williams. And now Georgia in a situation where they have to foul. Now Georgia still with only 6 team fouls, so the Gators not yet in the bonus. Georgia has to foul again right away. Williams left open, they'll go out and foul her. And Ronnie Williams has been an excellent free throw shooter in the last 4 minutes of games. 11 of 13, 84.5%. You're right, it has not been a great game for Ronnie Williams. Timeout called by Andy Landers. But Williams coming up with a big rebound just a few moments ago, and now she'll step up to the stripe for the first time tonight. You saw her overall numbers for the season, 69% at the line. Much better end of game. 2-point lead for the Gators.
Number 1, your shoes on top.
11-0 run for Florida here. Kayla Lewis gets another rebound, had it stripped away by Georgia. Lady Bulldogs down 2, clock running. Ford loses the dribble, picks it up, in trouble, stolen away by the Gators.
That was Georgia's opportunity right there to take advantage and tie the game back up.
So the foul on Ingram, she fouls out after the steal by Needles. So Ingram is done for the night, scored 5 points, all of them very early in the game. And now Florida will go to the line to try to build on their 2-point lead.
And you mentioned earlier Florida being having a really high free throw percentage. This isn't the position you want to be in if you're Georgia.
Needles, 16 of 17 in the last 4 minutes of games. Over 94%. Hits the first to give Florida a 3-point lead. The next one, of course, is very big. She hits this one. It's going to be very difficult for Georgia. Rolls it in, 4-point lead for the Gators. 13-0 run to close out this game. Georgia going to run out of time. 3-pointer with half a second. Timeout called by Georgia. But precious little time left for Georgia.
Yeah, I don't know how much they can do with 0.5 seconds left on the shot clock. That's a nice shot by Erika Ford, but I don't.
So here you go. And a foul called on Georgia, so they did their job right there. They foul without the Gators even getting the ball in bounds.
I still don't know how much you can do with half a second left on the clock coming from so far away.
But at least you give your team a chance right here. Yeah, there was the foul right there on Griffin. So Needles at the line, and Needles easily their best free throw shooter. Georgia probably wants her to hit them both, really. At least then Georgia gets an inbounds and a chance to heave the ball down the floor. So Georgia probably pulling for Needles right here. If I'm Florida, maybe I just miss on purpose. At least this gives Georgia an inbounds with 0.6 of a second at the buzzer. And the Florida Gators have